Hello everyone and welcome back to my BossBow challenge. I am Tater Chimp, also known as Spudmonk, and I guess Chris will do. And today we are going through the depths. And I actually went ahead and took the time to kind of check how my recordings were sounding a bit. I know that I was being a little bit mumbly previously, so I just wanted to go ahead and make it so it'd be maybe a little bit more tolerable to listen to. Things like that. A quality issue. And because the depths are just kind of another little grindy part, I figured it might be a good excuse to kind of talk more about quality issues that have been happening today. And I wanted to, what kind of brought that on was my daily job. I work doing process improvement work, so pretty much all we're trying to do is make sure that quality of what my work, job, business, department, firm, whatever you want to call it, basically that what they're doing is a good product, because if we mess up enough times then people won't be happy with us, all that kind of stuff. So actually it's using the Six Sigma principles, and what the Six Sigma principles are is that you should only have about 6 defects per million pieces produced, which is like 99.9994, I think it winds up being 6 nines. And then I also learned when I was taking courses in college for IT stuff that I think it's cable companies have, like cable and internet go with 5 nines is what they call it, 5 9 service, which is 99.999% of the time you will get service without interruption. And when you think about that, when you think about an entire year, 525,600 minutes, rent. When you think about that time frame, what 99% of that time is. So if you look at, it'd be 500,000 minutes, give or take, per year. If you had a 99% level on that, then that would give you 50,000 minutes of downtime. And just doing some quick math, that would be something like 80 hours. So, I mean, about 2 straight working weeks of not having access to it. Is that right? The math might be a little bit fuzzy, but the point is, if you have 99%, it'd be 1% of 500, which would be 5, so it'd be 5,000. Yeah, which would still be math somewhere, not my strong suit. But basically, the takeaway from all of that is, if you're at 99%, there's still a lot of room for improvement. And the reason why that is relevant now, and this is American politics for everyone who's listening, is the recent Obamacare Affordable Healthcare Act. They're saying they're so happy because they're like, yeah, we were able to improve our website so that 99% of the people who enrolled were able to do so without a problem. And that sounds really good on paper, and it sounds great politically, until you realize that they also posted numbers saying that there were 1 million people trying to enroll. So you've got 1% out of 1 million, so you have 100,000 people? Maybe more? No, not 100,000. 10,000. Whatever it is. Math is hard. But you have all of these people who are trying to enroll and failing. Hug the left wall here, by the way. And are failing on the system, and that's still considered a success. It's not a good metric for it. And to kind of contrast that, maybe not contrast, because when it started off, and again, I give them a lot of credit, because website design, dealing with stress testing, is something that, as a gamer and as an IT nerd, it's something that I'm very familiar with, because we always see with games, especially MMOs, I think that Diablo was the latest big one. I'm going to go ahead and splurge on a bottomless box, and some heavy bolts. Diablo was the kind of latest game where it had this huge player base, a lot of people excited for it. A lot of people were playing it. At least that's the rumor. And it just got completely, just negative press because, well, it couldn't handle the stress test of all of it. It's like, yeah, but you're dealing with millions of people attacking it at the same time. If you have a system that, first of all, if you're able to test it with a fake 2 million user base and find the problems to be, not terrible, that's probably pretty good. I don't know if they expect to have the kind of success that they do, and they should. And I don't know if there's any decent way to actually test for all the different conditions. But that being said, when you actually get to people, if you have people online complaining about like, well, I couldn't get online. What am I doing? Reversing Howland. They're like, well, I couldn't get online, and everybody's getting these messages, and it's like, well, maybe it's just the vocal majority of people. And I think between Diablo and SimCity, there were messages where it was like, yeah, there are too many people playing the game, so we can't let anybody else in. And people are all up in arms, like, how did they not see this coming? How do they not have more room? And it's like, you realize that what you're asking them is like, hey, how did you not predict that your game was going to make millions and millions of dollars? The only reason that people can't play the game is because so many people are playing the game, and that's got to be a good metric of success. If it's and I mean, it sucks for the people who want to play it and aren't able to. What I'm saying is that if you're expecting a million people, and the million and tenth person, can't get on, that's still a success from the company. It's still a success from the game's point of view that, they sold the copies. Good on them. But and then the other thing on quality was kind of thinking this through. Oh, I think he's gonna spawn right here, and I don't know if I have to wait around, or if I have to run back here to trigger him, I think. There he is. Howdy ho, neighborino. Got something for you. It's a sword. Do you like it? If you want another one, I can provide. Just sit down, mate. Alright. So yeah, other quality stuff. The launch of the new consoles, and this is something that I think it will be very interesting to see, because the Xbox has, let's say, a bad history with launch hardware. Yeah, not software, launch hardware. So a lot of people are going to be keeping a very close eye on Microsoft, and the PS4 has already gotten some complaints. I think that they were saying, like, their official statement was, you should be expecting about a 5% failure rate on new hardware. So, we're seeing less than 1%. We're seeing 0.4% hardware failure rates. So, comparison to the norm for hardware failure, that's pretty good. And people are like, oh yeah, okay, that's great. They're trying. But on the other hand, there's a crossbow up here somewhere. Uh, on the other hand, is that acceptable? Because you can compare yourself to what the industry standard is, but are you still saying if we sell 1 million PS4s, we know that 40,000 of them are going to break and we're just cool with that? Like, it doesn't completely take care of the problem, I guess. But I think both of them, it sounds like they both are going to have issues. I think that they're saying that the PS4 has the power brick built into the system, which I believe that it did last time, whereas the 360 has the external power brick. And that's going to make a fairly substantial difference. Well, potentially a substantial difference, because you look at the 360. Well, you look at the size of the power brick on the 360, and you realize they're drawing a fairly decent amount. And when you think about taking that and putting it inside of the system with the rest of the hardware and all of the chips and all the other cooling that you have to have, it's probably a lot of strain in order to do that. So it wouldn't surprise me. Oh, that tail hit me. It wouldn't surprise me if the PS4 wound up having a higher defect rate than the 360, but neither of them should have any substantial defect problem after the 360 launch. If both of those companies are not scared to death of putting out a defective product, then they have been doing it wrong. Now, that being said, I think it gets rather interesting with the PS4 because they have produced the cheaper system this time around. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily the case, but because Xbox, you have the Kinect, you have different like R&D schedules, things like that. But if you're making a cheaper system and the two are on relatively the same power base, like as far as the graphical output, you just kind of, it'd stand to reason that the one that's cheaper skipped somewhere. They skipped doing some part of it, and that's the reason why they were able to get the cost down. So if it winds up being some kind of, they used a cheaper chip, they skimped out on cooling, They didn't, you know, put in all of the different safeguards that they could, and this is where I get like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I've got a good feeling, which baseless conjecture on the internet about consoles, no way. But I think that there is opportunity for the PS4 to have a higher defect rate than the PS3 had, and I think we've seen a lot of that on day one, and a lot of people dismiss it with that 0.4% statistic, but that came up within the first week of the console. So it wasn't like over the lifespan of it that it was, you know, only had 0.4% for everyone sold. It was 0.4% that came up within the first week. And it's really going to be when you start seeing heavy use of it that it'll probably come up more. So, just kind of interesting, something to keep an eye on, I think. That being said, the original 360, when that was introduced, the problem with it, it was something ridiculous, like a 25 or 30% failure rate, and that is absolutely outrageous to put out to market with that. That's something that you'd really think they would have caught, and apparently just nobody thought it would be important to have a working console. So, that was a boss. Gave us absolutely nothing except for another crossbow and some levels and access to a place that we don't need to go. So we're not even going to bother. I am going to plug the rest of these into endurance, so that should make it so have a little bit more room to work with as far as armor goes. And you saw how good I was doing with the math before. Yeah, it'd be like another 2 pounds that I could add on, so it'd be a light helmet. But, you know, it's something. There we go. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Any amount of protection is a good amount of protection. And that applies to Dark Souls, that applies to your love life, that applies to computer building. I don't know. Alright, and that should give me another one for another point of it. I think I'm just going to try and get up to about 100 for the equipment load. I think anything beyond that might be a little bit silly. And I also think, actually, I should be saving some souls to work on that other crossbow. Would have been a good idea, but I think I've still got some soul items. If not, I've got the Moonlight Butterfly. Because our next boss on the list is going to be Quelaag, and she has fire resistance. So we're going to need to upgrade our bow, and the large bow we're going to be taking down the magic path. So, as you guys should know, we've got plenty of green Titanite shards, so that's not going to be a problem. But problem is going to be the souls to upgrade it to that point. Yeah. Sometimes I speak and my brain can't keep up with me. It reached the, I need the... Yeah, that's a good example of it. I need a task manager for my brain to try and, like, shut down the other tasks for it. Can't be thinking about work. Can't be thinking about dodging. Can't be thinking about this dog. Have to be thinking about talking. Can't be thinking about how those bolts are hitting the ground instead of what I'm aiming at. There we go. 847 bolts. Ow. This could kill me. Ninja flips. Ninja flips. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the whichever ring there literally just saved my life against those guys. However, I might still be in a bit of a predicament, depending on how poorly this goes. There we go. Come on, guys. Everybody just kind of clear out, make a path. Player character coming through. Have to remember that just because I've leveled up a lot doesn't mean that I can actually take hits in this game. And that guy went flying. He went to the moon. Yeah, I was talking about something. Don't remember what. Getting souls, probably. Gonna need another 10 shards, so I'll need 8,000 soul, or not 10 shards. Yeah, 10 shards to get to +5. So that'd be another 6,200 souls that I would need. So, I think I'll check on my way over kind of what soul items I'm dealing with. Yeah, that should be good. Oh, and actually, yeah, I forgot. I need to have a little bit of wiggle room with the way that I build my character. Because if I have 100, I can't put on armor exactly up to 25 because this heavy crossbow that I picked up, I'll wait until I'm at a bonfire to show it off, but I think that instead of weighing 3 pounds, it weighs like 5 pounds, and then a sniper crossbow weighs like 6 pounds. So you do have to keep in mind if you're planning on doing what I'm doing, which is dumb, so wouldn't recommend it, but in case you are, that you want to use a better crossbow, or not a better crossbow, you want to use armor that is conducive to quick rolling no matter which crossbow you are using for when you need to swap it out for events such as fighting Quelaag. There we go. I did it. Alright, so your ninja flips. That's strange. I don't think that I hit the leave, so, like, am I being invaded in Firelink? That would be interesting. Oh, and I was going to say, I have a bunch of large shards, which is great. Alright, so let's take a look at that other crossbow that I picked up. So yeah, the heavy crossbow weighs 5 pounds instead of 3 pounds. Starts at 55. Our light crossbow started at 50, I believe. And it has the same shot range. Need a little bit more strength in order to use it. But other than that, pretty much the same. So we're just going to run over to our friend Andre again, and get him to upgrade our crossbow a bit. Then once we've got that going, I think that we're taking on Quelaag after that. So should be making some real progress quickly here after we've kind of spent some time just getting our build set up, which is good. Because I think this is like episode 7. We're going to be probably at episode... probably be able to get past Quelaag, so episode 8 probably be Sen's Fortress. So we'll be halfway through the game, like 12 or so. So moving at a pretty decent clip. You know how Dark Souls is, probably, maybe. And I love to use those guys as guinea pigs for how much damage I'm doing, so if I don't come back here while you're watching, I'm going to be coming back here at some point with the magic crossbow, just for comparison's sake. And I do not believe... all of the crossbows do not have scaling with the stats, and I looked up on the wiki how the damage works for them. I don't want to say my spawn there. Looked up on the wiki how the damage is done for them. Pretty much every single crossbow, no matter how you ascend it, is going to do the same damage. So it really doesn't make a difference.
What? I got Smith. Why not? Why? I could.
We're actually going to want a lot more souls as well. So I'll go ahead and sub out that and that. I don't plan on building boss weapons, so I'm okay with using the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly. We'll do that. Yup. Oh, nope, it was only 1,200. I messed up. I thought it was going to be a lot more. I was wrong. It's that, there's the webcomic with Mario and Toad where it's...
Well, you need it.
Yes, actually I do. Purchase item, Titanite shards. I know that I'll need 20, but I can't afford it. So let's just get 10 and let's get our bow started. Oh, and actually, oh yeah, that's right. So I can modify this into the +6, and I can modify this to the +6, and then, yeah, I'm going to leave the rest of my souls because that should be 5 levels of the magic for the crossbow. So I should be able to do that. And then I guess I will have to take off my fancy little hat here to accommodate the larger crossbow. So let's go ahead and do that now, just that way we get it. Ooh, look at how much bigger it is. It's so much more intimidating. Yeah, so we're just going to use our souls right now to get it to a magic crossbow, because we already have the weaponsmith box, so we can upgrade our Zweihänder whenever we need to. So, don't have to worry about spending souls to do that. immediately. Looks so much different in human form. Great cheese on those abs. I believe that the Demon Fire Sage, or the Stray Demon, all of the Demon class enemies are fire resistant, so not the best idea to have a fireball if we wanted to fight them too. Every time I come down there I think about them. Like, someday I will have to fight you. And resist the temptation, ignore the beautiful celebrities, picking up the Pyromancer's Flame to use power within, because, well, it would be beneficial, and while we have basically everything that we need right now, I just think it's cheap. Oh yeah. I also figured out, because I was looking at it and I did some testing, and it's like, okay, two-handing it basically makes absolutely no difference. Why would you want to two-hand a crossbow? And then I realized that they have strength requirements, and although they're really minimal, you could actually get away with a character that doesn't use a shield and doesn't put points into strength, and just has this awesome crossbow kind of build, and I guess that would save you a few more souls. So you could do that as well. Maybe for like a low... Oh! Okay. Yup. That was definitely an input that I did. My controller just bugged out, I swear. I didn't just ninja flip off the edge to kill myself. Alright. That's fine. You know, when I played this game first, I raged quite a bit at it because stupid things like that, where it's just be like, I didn't push the button and then it killed me, and I was human, and I had a humanity, and I was going to use that humanity. I was going to kindle a bonfire. Didn't even die from an invasion. I died because I jumped off like an idiot. This game's dumb. And now, after you play it like 3,000 times, and you're just like, yeah, death happens. Death happens. Doesn't matter how good you are, death waits for no man. It was my time to go. Like, there are other games that I'm trying to think of what I've been playing recently, but To the Moon is not the pinnacle of challenge, so probably not the best example for it. But just games where they're, you know, slightly... Wow. I was making sure that I was not anywhere near that, and it was still like... yes. So, modify. So we want our heavy crossbow to be a magic heavy crossbow. And we do want to reinforce that. Yeah, other games, I'll get a little bit more upset about them because I'm a little bit more invested in it.
Goodbye then.
But then, like this, I've played it enough to know better. I've played it enough to know when death is my fault and when it's the game's fault, and, you know, if it's something where it's like, oh, well, that was unavoidable, and, you know, it's like, well, then just don't go there. Don't mess around with things that could potentially kill you. Need one more guy. There we go. Really? Just for this, you get the special treatment. You and your friend. Pick. Alright. Then moving as far away from the roll button as I can.
Hey, hang on. Is that? What? I'm a.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, a weapon.
Now, ordinarily, that would be awesome because we could then modify our crossbow to be a super magic crossbow. But, as you will see, if I go to modify, can't do it. And that is because crossbows do not have the chaos, and they do not have the enchanted or the occult path. And I don't really know why that is. For the enchanted, I could see where it would let you get a plus 15 effectively crossbow pretty much at the start of the game. You just have to run to the forest and farm the golems down there, which would make it a little bit broken. It's not to say that you can't get a plus 15 weapon at the start of the game, just by killing what's-his-name in New Londo as well. And actually, that was the direction that I needed to go. So let's just keep pressing on. I don't need anything from up here. I'm just going to go kill Quelaag. Okay, so as you can see, we're doing 320 here and a little bit under 300 here. So our magic heavy crossbow is doing a little bit more work, but it's not a significant margin. Nothing really to be too concerned about. And I think, yeah, about 250 damage. And I think we were doing, I don't even remember. Go ahead, look it up. See what I care. But, trying to see if it would be better to get Quelaag in this video or the next one. I think I have time to get down there, take her on at least once. I don't. No, I don't want to jinx it. Pew. And let's see. Yeah, because we're now using a magic crossbow instead of a fire one, we should be doing a lot more damage to those bug monsters. I think we were doing around the 80 mark before, and I imagine that it'll be doing closer to the 200 now. So that'll be nice. Assuming it connects. I mean, there's that. Oh wow, 150. So yeah, they're still fairly resistant to my advances. Oh, but actually that is almost exactly the same as the +6. So, very good to know. Do have to have a +10 to upgrade to a lightning weapon, so there's that. Oh, and actually, after I take on Quelaag, I am also going to go down to that bonfire and try and take on Ceaseless Discharge. And win or lose doesn't really matter to me, because the main reason I'd be doing it is for the gold hem set, because I believe it's going to be slightly less heavy than the sealer set, I think it is, whatever I'm wearing now. So I might be able to get a few more pieces of armor and at least some fire resistance behind it, so that'll be good. It'll be worth the pickup. And because I'm wicked confident in my abilities, I'm going to go ahead and hit the bonfire first. Never overstate how good you are at this game. Just don't. It's always going to be a mistake. And then the question is, with Quelaag, do I use the souls to level up the Zweihander to be a +10, or do I use her souls to level up me to have more endurance? And I think we all kind of know how that one's going to turn out. As much as I love this sword, I love being able to do rolls with more armor more often, so... Oh, that's right, we don't have the super fancy dancy ring. It doesn't really matter though. It's just a quick jaunt through the swamp anyway. And I believe that's another large Titanite shard? Yes. So let's two-hand this, roll over to this guy, give him the time of day. Which I think is a Catcher in the Rye reference? I think that, yeah, that was the book where there was a guy who was saying that, you know, saying he wants to give girls the time of day. My friend was like, what the hell does that mean? What is that insinuating? Like, hey baby, let's go to my bed o'clock. But I normally don't even care, but because I'm doing it for you guys, we'll go ahead and use a moss clump. Just get rid of the poison. And this is a callback to an earlier episode. Always top yourself off, because if you die from one hit, you're gonna look like a fool. And if you lose the fight by a single Estus flask, you don't deserve to win. So, yeah. So, mobility is going to be very nice, as is the ability to... I think if you hit the lady parts on her, that you can actually stun her a bit, but it looks like my crossbow is not going to be able to perform that task. But because we've got the flippy ring, every single one of her attacks is going to be pretty well out of reach, as long as we don't get ourselves stuck. And you see that the crossbow doesn't use stamina in order to fire, which is proving to be quite nice here, because that gives us all of our bars for flippy flippy. I don't even know what she's thinking here. I mean, she's AI, so she's not thinking, is basically the long and short of it, but it was just very strange break in the pace of the battle. But yeah, you can see that our attacks aren't draining stamina, so we are free to use our endurance for maneuvers like this. and because of the extra maneuverability given to us by the wood grain ring, her attacks are pretty well neutered. So this it's looking good, is what I want to get at. Because we just, oh shoot, this could be bad though. Yep. Dang it. I was hoping, I didn't want to jinx it by saying it, but I was really hoping to have a perfect run. But I actually covered too much ground because of the ninja dodge. Curse my hubris. I don't think that I can flip faster than she can pivot, although that would make things rather interesting. But, oops, got a little bit too close here. There we go. So, that wasn't much of a chore. Not at all. And I know, remembering back to the first time I was playing, if I saw that, I'd just be like, this game's dumb. Why didn't I build that crossbow? This game's stupid. And we'll probably have a little bit of bleed over. I don't think we'll be able to level up twice cleanly. So, be able to upgrade that Zwei. Get that Zwei. Oh, and also, I don't think that I've done any cheap deaths on bosses yet, but I don't plan to either. By cheap deaths, I mean the ceaseless discharge. There's a gimmick to that boss fight that you can abuse, and I'm going to choose not to. Totally, bruh. Yep, let me in. Please. Please. I wanna get around. I wanna get around. I'm gonna kill your lady. I'm gonna kill your lady friend and take her soul. After I level up. Probably after I beat ceaseless as well. So there we go. And like I said, we have a little bit of bleed over, so we can actually reinforce our Zweihander yet again, wherever it is. There we go. Get that up to +8, which it's pretty good. I mean, it's doing a good chunk of damage for the strength that we have, so it's not going too poorly. And then we're going to take one swing at the ceaseless. I didn't remember to start timing things, so I don't know when the official stop should happen, but we're going to see. If it goes a little long, it's not a big deal on my end. Just a little bit longer to upload, so I'll probably have to do that on a weekend instead of a weekday. Not to get too overly into the technical aspect of it. Oh, duh, I could have just bonfired there. That would have been good too. Yeah, whatever. What the hell? Whee! Like how it took the damage slightly after that. Awesome. And if I were quick, then I could sub out, or if I use the bottomless box, I could sub out over to the Firehem set right away, or Goldhem set, for the added fire resistance. But I don't think I'm going to get the chance. And honestly, I would be surprised if he didn't immediately kill me. He usually gets off one very strong fire attack that is difficult to deal with. So, yeah. We'll make our happy little run. But I can't imagine that my guy would be uncomfortable at this point, because he's wearing a skirt, he's got his shirt off. I mean, he's looking pretty comfortable. It's gotta be hot down here. Can't come in here with full Havel's gear. You just sweat right through that, you know? That'd suck. Gotta keep it light and breezy in Lost Islip. This actually might give the opportunity to get the large fire ember as well. Alright, let's try and be quick about this, and fail miserably. Alright, so I think that was his first little splash attack there, and it totally ripped. So we actually, yeah, we're actually in the fight part of the fight. And this is going to take a while. But, as you can see, his attacks, less than impressive. So we can take out about one chunk of his life bar every time that he swings, by the looks of it. So yeah, not a terribly menacing fight. Is it greedy to go for 4? No, it is not. And I don't know why, but I always like to dodge lefts on this guy. I don't even know if I'm familiar with that one. I don't think that I've really seen him use that attack before. I'm just not familiar to the animations of this guy, because usually I do just cheese him. Wow! That was some iframe abuse. I should be dead. 100% I should be dead. Okay. I got my comeuppance. Alright, so what was different in the tell for that one was something. Yeah, it's slightly up is what that one is. Alright, so what is this going to be? Slightly, yeah. And I need to dodge right, which I'm kind of uncomfortable doing. I am not an ambi-dodger here, but I'm gonna try and, well, no, I've got some left room to deal with now. And it's not superstition or anything like that. I'm just not sure how his attacks hit when they hit. If like it curls slightly, or if it's easier to dodge to the left. I just know that I always historically have, so I'm not going to take chances. Lead him over to the right as long as he's kind of lost a little bit of aggro on me. Probably be helpful if I didn't have lock on, but without it, my bow shots are going to be a little bit more errant. So let's switch back to these bolts. I think they do a little bit more. Yeah. So get an extra. Actually, yeah, it looks like we're getting a lot of extra damage in per cycle on that. Oh, and we're dead. Great. Alright, we'll try this again next time.